this customer prospect will walk right down the aisle and close the sale themselves. How would you like to work on a lead like that? Imagine your income can actually double tomorrow if you're able to expose. Thank you. You know, it sounds corny, you know, meeting somebody that actually has no motives, hey Floyd, and just good intentions, man, just pure intentions, and that's where I'm coming from, and the motivation for that is I find being successful in life, global success, and global success to me, that means you're financially free, you have that freedom, but more so you feel good inside as to helping others. Because you have to help others in order to really find that global success. And Sophie and I found that by scaling our business. And we were so desperate to survive that we knew almost instantly, but not in great detail, the importance of helping our team members, our partners, our employees. Remember, I'm not about titles. I needed them as much as they needed me. And when you understand that concept and you really surrender to that concept, then you will start understanding scale. You'll never ever learn the full value of scale. That's the beautiful thing I think about life. There's no limit. You can continue growing, impacting. And how I sold that business for $1 billion, and I was just like you guys, and I didn't raise the money, I didn't have investors, and that includes our real estate portfolio over $300 million, no investors, no nothing. And to be honest with you, I didn't know that there were passive investors willing to give you money. I was just so busy surviving that I absolutely needed to succeed. My mother's here. Mom, if you can raise her hand, she came to visit me here in California. And my mom means a lot to me because a lot of you, I don't know if you know, but my mom was a waitress and she taught me the power of being kind. You know, and that's when you have preparation opportunity. When these two forces meet and you have a kind heart, because we all have a kind heart, but we're just so distracted, I think, with so much going on in our life, especially a business owner. Business owners, all of you are in business for one reason only, to do better in life. And we're so overwhelmed with the stress, the pressures, everything that comes with life that we lose ourselves and we forget who we are. And who we are, we're kind. We're kind. And you'll be surprised. I made this fortune being kind. 9 out of 10 times I went at the negotiation table because I cherish my non-refundable minutes and I tend to want to listen. I don't react. And that's how I was able to be really good in sales. It's called people skills. And how I sold that business for $1 billion was it was so simple, guys. We were doing about $50 million a year. We took that $50 million in business to billions of dollars, $5 billion. Almost instantly. How did you do that, Bobby? And I'm going to skip around. 7 o'clock tonight, I think, is marketing, correct, Albert?
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm going to get a little bit into marketing because in sales, it's an absolutely necessary. We're always in sales. When you're changing that lane here in LA with that massive traffic that's going on, you're selling yourself. Hey, can I get over? You're selling yourself. My little granddaughter was selling herself to me this morning. We're always in the sales mode. So be bent to that and surrender the fact that we are all into sales. I can speak until I was 7 years old. And we all can be a top performer in sales. I don't believe the individual said, well, some people are born with it, Bobby, and some people are not. I don't buy that based on my personal experience because I was an introvert. I didn't speak until I was 7 years old. I was very, very shy. My mom can tell you, she was right here. Now I have this confidence, this know-how, and how I was able to not only build the $1 billion business, and 2019, this business did over $180 million of net income. And as you know, net income is not the gross, it's not the expenses which is in the middle, it's what's left over. After paying me, call it $10, $20 million a year, paying beautiful people, 500 employees, reserving all the ugly that comes with the business, all the expenses, we still had $180 million left over to pay taxes. Now that's what you call scale. That's a business. How did you do it, Bobby? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to show you how you can move the needle next month. All of you are lost. All of you may have family members like I did, because we tend to hire family members. We tend to be desperate. We hire all these people, and we realize they don't have the skill set. So I want you to really think for a moment right now. Treat your business, because your efforts, your non-refundable minutes, you're building a business that's worth something. So imagine you struggling and fighting, creating and growing, and at the end of the day, your business is worth nothing. That's not a business, would you agree? So you gotta start treating your business as a business. What you're doing is that you are force appreciating the valuation of your company. How? You need revenue. You need controlled expense, not uncontrollable expenses, and you need net income. What do you mean, Bobby? Well, Bobby did, in the beginning, a very bad mistake. Whatever came in, I paid my necessary business expenses, and then I pocketed everything. We all do that as a small business owner. We don't think about the power of net income, and you're ignoring it because you're not building nothing that one day you can be like I and sell your business. My business is no different. I was in the financial business, healthcare financial business. No different if you're in the mortgage business, you're a money broker, you're a realtor, whatever business, this applies. So what happened, how did I go from 50 million to $5 billion? Data. Write it down, guys, data. You guys are so lucky because you live in a world right now that if you really pay attention to data and analytics, because a lot of salespeople, they want to BS themselves and try the fast way, trick the customer, do all this, a lot of energy by just fluffing it up, and you're not building or creating nothing. So analytics, data will bring that customer to you that needs your product. There's no trick. Pain points. A pain point is when a customer needs your product or service. They don't care about the price. So when you hear a lot of entrepreneurs say, including me, it's not about the price, they're absolutely certain, I am certain that it's not the price. You're just talking to a customer that cannot afford your product or service, but more so, they don't need it. If they don't need it, it is a fight, it's a struggle. You could be wasting your non-refundable minutes. And we all do that. Right now, all your ratios and conversions, if you do have a sales staff or in yourself, you're keeping track of all your KPIs, and you're measuring this KPI based on the closing ratio. But you really are wasting your time and your staff time. You can't measure KPIs on unqualified leads. The most important thing in sales are qualified leads, qualified prospects that you're talking to. Now just imagine, you're not a good salesperson. I wasn't a good salesperson. I became a good salesperson, how? When I was talking to customers that desperately needed my product. The confidence goes up, you are sold on your product or service, you have to have a solution. And now it's not about price, and that was the most expensive. Out of all our competitors, we're the most expensive, but we're the most picky with the customer. We have the toughest underwriting guidelines in the industry, but our rates are over 14% when our competitors' rates are 4%. And we crush them. How do we do that? There's no secret. I'm not telling you anything to threaten my business. Don't be one of these individuals that, oh my God, I don't want to share so much because I'm going to have too much competition. If that is your concern or worry, guys, you're in the wrong industry. That means you don't have scale. When you have scale, you have to be open-minded. Don't worry about all your salespeople maybe stealing your sauce or whatever. Be focused on creating value. So what I did was I hired a lot of people, started with one person. And when one person had a question, an awesome question for Brad, and I'll get back to that one question I want to top. I'm hoping that individual can come back up about the referrals. Data. You're going to extract this data that the customer needs your product. So you can have, right now, your sales staff is a horrible sales staff. You're a horrible closer. You're a horrible salesperson. Just imagine. But guess what? Overnight, you could be a high performer. Yeah, Bobby, you manipulated it because you brought customers that needed your product. Yes. Where would you want to invest your non-refundable minutes? You want to spend at least 25% on your marketing budget. Don't ignore it. And I may be being light on it. We went as high as 40%. And that includes staff, by the way. So data and analytics, if you don't pay attention to it, you don't have a fighting chance to build a business. You can skate by, you can blow up all the leads, you can have all your staff waste all their energy by not closing or selling customers, because these customers don't want your product. They don't need your product, and more so, they can't even afford your product or service. Why are you speaking to them? So data is everything. Spend minimum of 25%, and that's how I sold that business for $1 billion. How was I able to do more volume than my competitors, be more picky on my underwriting, and charge more? It's not because we had great salespeople. We'll get a little bit into that, how you train them and make sure you really lined up your skill sets correctly and your whole culture's aligned. I had the data. It was an edge. Pay attention. 2020, you're so lucky, because I was so unlucky. I didn't have it. It wasn't the resource was not just there. I didn't have the internet. I had to figure this out throughout the years, but only when I brought and I leveraged better talent than me that knew something that I didn't know, because I kept burning all my non-refundable minutes. I was making $250,000 a year. I probably got to $500,000 a year, and maybe, guys, I got to $1 million personal income. That's a win, right? I was so happy, but man, I was actually not at $1 million. I was making $200,000 because I was burning so much energy, putting so much pressure on my sales staff. You can't close for nothing, and we're just working harder instead of smarter. I sold that business for $1 billion, just basically, man, the secret, guys, was data. That's how I did it. You can be the worst salesperson, and I can double your closing ratio by just giving you a customer that needs your product and service now. Not tomorrow, but now. But then again, that's where the KPIs come in. Now you have to really look for the skill set. So now you're in a different type of lead, a qualified lead versus an unqualified lead. There's 2 ways to measure that. Unqualified lead, it's a total mess. No one knows where really the benchmark is. Qualified leads, now you have to be in sales. You have to what? Listen to a customer. If you don't listen to a customer that needs your product or service, this customer prospect will walk right down the aisle and close the sale themselves. How would you like to work on a lead like that? Imagine your income can actually double tomorrow if you're able to expose to data and analytics.